Hey everybody, welcome to the MVP show where we go behind the scenes of this epic community. India is a huge country with a population of 1.34 billion people. So why do we only have 9 MVPs within such a massive country in the BizApp space? What barriers exist and how can we enable more active members within the region? And for that matter, also that we embrace diversity. And I know of one female MVP in the region, but it would be great to see more in this thriving community that we're part of. It may come as no surprise that our next guest is a cricket fan and also a self-professed solitude lover. Time now to go and fill up your coffee cup while we shoot the breeze with Debajit. Hi, so I'm here with Debajit. Debajit, welcome to the show.
Hey, hi. How are you?
Good. So tell us a bit about what part of the world you come from and what's famous about where you come from.
Okay, so I am basically based out of India and currently working from Bangalore. So you can term it as like the Silicon Valley of India, Bangalore, where most of the IT is concentrated around. And if you really ask me what is popular in India, I would say cricket in sports, movies, Bollywood songs, and finally in food, it's biryani.
Okay. So let's just unpack the Bollywood piece. So tell us a bit about, why is Bollywood such a big thing in India? And are you talking about the dancing, the movies? Tell us a bit about it.
Okay, so what I find Bollywood unique is the way so you have movies and hardly, it is unimaginable in India to have a Bollywood movie without a song in it. Okay, so unlike in Hollywood and all, you have songs, but they are kind of background music stuffs which keeps on playing and all. Here there is choreography and stuffs, dance moves, beats and all. That is part of the movie in itself, which is like a. And when some of them play, especially the party songs or the festival songs, you feel like you are in a carnival within the theater only. So that's where I find it unique. Story-wise, it's more concentrated these days on action thrillers and stuffs like that. And you got lots of emotional stuffs as well. But what really stands out, I feel, is the song and the dance part in our movies, which is usually not there in other movies.
Are there different kind of dances for different types of songs? And I tell you why I'm asking this. So I've seen videos at even corporate IT type events where a bunch of Indian people, a bit of music will come on and they all know the dance moves. It's almost like a flash mob. Everybody knows the dance moves. So are they all coming from movies or are they a set lot of dances you learn in school, or how does it all work?
Okay, yeah. So the stuffs that you have been seeing, that is organized in a lot of corporate sectors these days. And it's kind of a really big refresher for the people who are working in day out. Coming from where we get that motivation and all. Yeah, most of the songs that you hear here they're playing and also dancing to are the tracks from the Bollywood movies. Okay, and some of them are solo album hits and stuffs like that, but mostly they are from the Bollywood movies. And obviously there is some impromptu stuff to it, but I will break the mystery here as well. In flash mobs, organized flash mobs, they practice a lot for some days before they actually hit the flash mob. So that's why you see most of the people dancing in rhythm and stuff. It's really not an impromptu, I would say. It's been practiced, but a lot of guys actually join in and do their impromptu stuffs, which is really good, which makes it more exciting.
Yeah. That's the thing about practice, is and when people look at somebody that's well practiced in what they do, often it's just perceived as coming naturally because of that practice. That's very interesting. So, but tell us a bit about where you originated from. I understand you come from Calcutta. Tell us a bit about the history of that place. I understand it's called the City of Joy and the cultural capital of India. So tell us a bit about that location.
Okay, so Calcutta, just to go back a bit in history, it was the British capital of India, and to start with. Obviously, New Delhi is now the capital of India, but it was the capital of India in the 1700s and 1800s. And then why it is called City of Joy? I would say like it is called City of Joy because people there just want to enjoy each and every moment. So we are basically foodies, to be honest. Okay, although this trend of what I can say this food and breakfast kind of stuff, not eating too much oil and stuff, being healthy has kicked in a bit, but still we people from Bengal who are called Bengalis actually. So we are Bengalis and we love to eat street side food. It may have loads of oil, but yeah, that's the way it is. We relish that. We like to visit a lot of places. Like in India, if you go anywhere, like to any place where tourists are there, and 30 to 40% of the tourists will be from Kolkata or even more from Bengal. So we like to explore places. We travel around India. We like to travel around the world as well. So, yep. So I would say food and traveling are two of the stuffs that we people from Kolkata just relish.
Okay, so if we were talking food, and let's say I came and traveled to your hometown, what are the kind of like 3 to 4, 5 dishes that I would must eat to really experience your foodie culture?
Okay, the first thing that you need to try out after coming to Kolkata is the fish. We are fond of fish. We are the part of India who loves fish. I think we can even beat Kerala in our fish eating habits. So the first two things is like you should eat two fish which are kind of legendary in Bengal. One we call it ilish in Bengali. It's called hilsa, and then there are prawns which we call chingri. Okay, so these two are kind of, there are so many dishes. Prawn malai curry, like it is prawns within a tender coconut shell. So they'll just cut out the tender coconut and put the fried prawns in and allow it to be baked within that coconut flesh. So it totally gives you a different aromatic experience. Then coming to non-veg items, one more time I would say it's chicken. Chicken is quite popular. Okay, so and from the dry items you can try, from the starters you can try like the tangri kebab and stuffs like that, which are basically chicken leg pieces. You can tell them as drumsticks and stuff like that. And then you have biryani around everywhere in India, but Kolkata biryani is a bit different in the sense you will get not only chicken, you will get an aromatic flavor which is quite different, and also you are served with one egg and one full boiled potato. So and that's what makes it unique. So and finally for breakfast and all, we love luchi, which is kind of a small version of, you can say, we make a dough, okay, and out of gram flour, and then put it in oil, and it just balloons up, and you can see those small dish-like structures coming out, and they are simply delicious with potato curry or lentils. So I would say you need to try out this luchi, then this prawn malai curry, and finally our chicken tangri kebabs and biryani.
Man, you've got me hungry. It sounds amazing. Coming from New Zealand, we definitely, a lot of people had immigrated from India. In fact, I lived in a community that were it was in market gardens and agriculture, and pretty much all the market gardens were owned by people from India. And so therefore we had a lot of people, that would come to our place and bring Indian food right from when I was young, before you could like buy it at a Indian restaurant type thing. So yeah, I like it very much. It's made me hungry talking to you, but let's talk about, tell me about your family. So, and also the region of Calcutta, it's close to Bangladesh. Is that right? And is it far from the ocean, or?
No, Kolkata is like, it's beside it's a coastal place, you can say. Okay, it's situated on the bank of Ganga river, which is like the holy river of India, the Ganges, as you tell. And also it's quite close to Bay of Bengal. Okay, so now, so it's with coastal climate that you experience in Kolkata. It's mostly hot and all. And coming to where it is located exactly, it is, if you take the map and see, it is on the lower part of the state West Bengal. Now, okay, so it will be around 8 to 10 hours from Bangladesh by road. Yeah, it's pretty close, but not this. Kolkata is not a border of Bangladesh and stuff like that. It's towards the inside of West Bengal, and you need to travel at least 8 to 10 hours to actually reach there.
Okay, interesting, interesting. And so do you kind of go back there often, or or do you really live now full time, in the Silicon Valley of India?
So my native is still there. So my house is there in Kolkata. So Kolkata is my native, and my parents stay there. My sisters stay there as well. I have two sisters. My parents are staying there as well. And I started my career in Kolkata only with PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I worked there for quite a long time, like 2.5 to 3 years. I worked there. So in total, around 4 years of my career, I was there starting in Kolkata. So my roots are there. So every now and then, whenever I get an opportunity to travel back, I make it sure at least thrice or 4 times a year I go back to my native. Also, my parents come over to Bangalore to stay with me. So in this way, like all my relatives and all frequently come over to Bangalore as well to stay with me. So I am always connected with my family. That's what keeps me going as well.
How well do you know Biplab and Praveen Kumar?
I have worked with them. So I was working with them in Microsoft when I was a part of Microsoft Services Global Delivery. I know them pretty well. Okay, we have worked together. I think with Biplab, I even worked in a project. With Praveen, maybe not, but we were like every day we'll see each other, we'll chat, and also I know them quite well. We have worked for 2.5 years in the same place.
What about Dinesh? Did you know Dinesh at all?
Yeah, absolutely. For that matter, like Dinesh is quite close to me. He was my roommate when I was
Wow.
in, yeah, he stayed with me for 6 months. So more than an official, I have some personal bonding with him as well.
Excellent. No, they're all been work colleagues of mine, so I know them quite well from them moving to Australia. But of course, Dinesh is now back home. So that's interesting. So how did you end up becoming a MVP? Kind of what was your journey into the MVP program?
Just to go back a bit in history, my tryst with Dynamics started when I joined Microsoft in 2010. And the first stuff that I did in Dynamics was in Dynamics 2011. It was the beta version. Okay. And then I worked with some great people there, also used to get some interactions with the product team. And that's the leverage you carry, right? If you are part of the company that is creating the product, so you get your first time hands on even before other people in the market does that. So gradually, and that is the time when I came to know of the Dynamics MVPs. We had Donna and stuff. Like I used to be a big follower of her blogs and stuff at that time. Okay, we had Nishant. He was working with me only. Nishant Rana. He's also an MVP now. So I got so much engrossed in Dynamics and all, and then realized like how beautifully not only they are contributing to their project work, which I think every great consultant does, but the way they give back to the community. For example, what I really felt, I am stuck in a very complex scenario, right? And I go to the Microsoft documentation, I don't find much help because they are kind of generic stubs. But if you go to the community, you will see real life experiences of people who have faced that problem and have overcome that. And then I realized like if I'm getting so much from the community, I should start giving back as well. And with the guidance, to be very honest, my first guidance was my fellow MVP Dipesh. Okay, he was the one who encouraged me in doing community works. He told like if you share your knowledge with the community, it will be great. And then I started writing my blogs in 2014. It was the start, or I would say the beginning of my community contribution. Then I found some areas in Microsoft Dynamics at that time, which were kind of not present out of the box, and people will do a lot of code and stuff. So what I did is like I developed tools on Codeplex and made them available for the community to use. And gradually I started putting answering to Dynamics 365 forum on Facebook, which I felt is really great. I still do that. Mostly I concentrate on the blogs, whatever I understand and what from my learnings or whatever real life difficulties I face, I try to put them in the simplest terms as much as possible. I kept on doing that for 2.5 years. Finally, in 2016, I was recognized by a Microsoft employee for my contribution. And then I was awarded 2016 October, I was awarded the Business Solutions MVP. So you can say after a 2.5 years long journey, I achieved what I desired for. So, and I still continue to do the same.
Man, that sounds so good. So you're really, doing community contributions for around 2.5 years before it was kind of recognized as your contribution and became an MVP after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me, Codeplex kind of has gone away in a way. It's not kind of, we've got GitHub now. So have you kind of moved everything over to GitHub, or what's the story?
Okay, so we have made it in a couple of ways. So when Codeplex was being taken out and we were putting into GitHub, so what we did is like in the meantime, like around a year back, I started my own company as well, which is called XrmForYou. So what we did is like some of the steps, okay, we moved on to our website where if somebody writes to us, we give it as a free offering, okay, and couple we moved it to GitHub, okay. So but the main problem is that I got too much involved in building my own company, like starting up everything from scratch. And when you develop a company, it's like more CRM is just one part of it. There is so much stuff that you need to take care of which I had zero experience previously. So it took me some time to get things sorted out, to move my tools and stuffs, but finally we are in place. So all the Codeplex offerings, the links are still there. So if you just write to us, or if anybody writes to us, we just hand it out and help them in setting up things and stuff for free.
Excellent. So tell us a bit about your company then. So how long has your company been running, and kind of are you a system integrator, as Microsoft calls them, somebody that implements Dynamics and the related technologies for customers, or are you more on the independent software vendor side where you create add-ons to Dynamics that you sell to multiple companies?
To start our journey, we started this journey along with another colleague of mine. Before that, I was working in this memory technology giants like SanDisk and Western Digital, and I gained great experience from there. Then I decided to take the plunge with one of my colleague. He was also working with me, and initially we started as an ISV, and we developed some add-ons for the first few months and all. We identified areas where at that point of time, people were in real need of it, but Dynamics was lacking to provide out-of-the-box functionality. So we developed some add-ons and then we started marketing them. And once we started marketing and we got some clients and stuffs like that, then what turned out is like those clients, once they got impressed with the tool, it like the consulting bit started to follow. And then we started, tried our hands in consulting. Like I had a prior experience of 9 years totally into consulting. So I was quite comfortable, but we were a very small team. So we were not sure whether we can take up the big parts and all. So we will do on and off work in consulting. And then when we felt comfortable and stuff, we increased our team a bit. And then we started for independent clients and stuff. So now if you ask, like ISB was our start and it still continues. And we are also into consulting, which provide end-to-end consulting. Sometimes it's direct with customers. Sometimes we help out others who are implementing the CRM for their customers. So we help out in many ways. Sometimes we help out in taking trainings. For example, customer has just built a Dynamics team and they want to get them trained. So we help them out in training stuffs as well. And we are quite into the training market now. We did a lot of training stuffs for corporates and all. We do code reviews. We help them in selecting the right candidate for the interviews and stuff. So we are trying to diversify as much as we can, keeping the effort going. And let's see how far it goes.
Is your customer base mainly based, as in, are your customers mainly coming from India, or do you do projects that are remote, as in you're working for customers in other countries?
We are mostly working for customers in other countries, but so the model is sometimes like this. Sometimes we work remote, okay, so where we do not need to sit in the client location, and we do have some customers based out of US, mostly US region, but they have their offshore offices in India, and we need to sit out and with their internal team and work. So we have both the models going on, but if you ask me, mostly most ones are remote projects.
So that's interesting. Tell me a bit about how you handle kind of like project management when you're in a remote scenario. Are you part of is your team members connected to the project running, let's say, in the US, and the project manager sits there, or do you have your own project management team structure in place where you are?
Speaking of project management, we do not have any dedicated project manager. We are mostly like experienced guys from with the architect and programming background, and we do not have a fixed project manager. Having said that, most of our projects are something like this. I'll give you the model. So, for example, we do offshore consulting, right? So there is a requirement module in which they want us to collaborate with their team and work on. So they will give us access to the source controls and stuff like that after all the necessary legal complications have been taken care of. And then it's like we are collaborating to their source control and all. We attend their Scrum meetings online, sometimes through a video chat. We have the Skype and all those things enabled so that we attend the regular Scrum meetings and stuffs. So although remote, we are actually working like a part of their team, sometimes sitting at our homes or in our own office, and sometimes working out of client location. So it is like being part of their team without being present there maybe. It's a virtual presence, you can say, but we need to adhere to every policies and stuffs and Scrum meetings, project meetings, time sheets, everything that the project manager of the client asks us to comply to. So it's more like project management is from the client side, and we just adhere to whatever rules and regulations they establish.
Okay, excellent. So let me just drill into one thing that interests me there, and that is the Scrum meeting. So tell me kind of how do you see that happening? As in, like, how does that work for you? Like, I can understand if video is on because, the three questions, my understanding of Scrum are, what have you done? What are you working on? And are there any impediments or any blockers? So, and part of the whole idea of a stand-up is that you can eyeball each team member and you can see the flicker of part truth or untruth or the reaction to someone else going, like he goes, yeah, I'm going to be finish it today. And another team member that's close enough goes, not a chance you're going to finish it today. So how do you find those dynamics when you're over a remote internet connection?
Okay, so how it works out. So we have our own office here. So where we have set up these VCon facilities. And so what happens is like in the Scrum meetings, we try to connect over the video conferencing. So the guys sitting out of US or maybe some other region, they will be seeing us and we will be seeing them as well. Okay, so kind of stuffs like that. And so the turn will pass. So how it usually happens with most of our clients, I will tell you that. So normally the guys who are in person there, okay, they will be the first one who will be asked about the regular Scrum questions, right? And then the ball comes to us. And if I am working alone or maybe with whoever I am working or my other team members working, they give the updates to the questions asked. Okay, so now how much interactive? I would say you cannot ever... So it's like speaking to someone personally and speaking to someone over a video conference or phone. you cannot make them same. Okay, the emotions and stuffs has to be different. I still believe if meeting somebody in a person is far more effective than speaking over a phone or VCon. Having said that, we are trying to leverage technology as much as possible, and especially with this video conferencing, I feel we are close to as if we are in person. I won't say we are 100% there, but we are close to, and the same stuffs that happen in Scrum, right? If I face any, for example, Mark is there in their team, and there is something that is waiting for Mark. Now I can see Mark, and he can see me, and I can directly communicate in front of the entire team, like, hey Mark, we are waiting for you, or rather I am waiting for you on this to complete. Without that, if I check in my code, this problems may happen. So it still happens, may not be to the 100% effectiveness, but it is working as of now, Tajud.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. It's just cool to get another perspective on it. Have you ever thought about, like some of the colleagues we mentioned before, moving to another country and setting up there? Like, Australia's, always a very good option, and traditionally the US and Canada have been good options as well. Or do you find that you love home, and you don't have that kind of appetite to go and work in a country, like what I mentioned?
For that matter, I had a lot of colleagues, okay, who has traveled and worked, and obviously what I feel is like, as a part of my consulting career, I have traveled a lot, but most of my travel has been for project purpose, and like sitting in client locations and stuffs, and most of that in US. Okay, so I have traveled to US quite a lot for the consulting, but unfortunately not much to Australia and New Zealand. In fact, I never got the chance to visit there. So that is one thing still in my bucket list, and which I'll certainly fill. But yeah, so coming to your question, so what I felt is like, I always try to stay, has been kind of a family person. So what I believe is like, it's the family which makes me stronger and helps me to deliver what I am doing currently. And no matter where I am in this technological world, if you really feel, and with the advancements that we are making, I think we are connected to the entire world anywhere. Okay, sitting out of Bangalore doesn't make me like, or somebody sitting out of Australia doesn't alienate them from the culture of India. And I feel if the reverse, vice versa as well. Having said that, the greatest advantage of travel is like, as I told you, there are some things virtual cannot make up for an in-person thing. And what I feel is like, one classic example I will give, I worked for a consulting client for a long time in Dallas in US. Okay. And within US only, when I went to California in Milpitas, and I could see a difference in culture, right? Which you can never understand, maybe sitting out of Bangalore and doing a video conferencing. So within the same country, you have so variety culture, the same stuffs that may have worked, or the same words that may have worked with one client in one region may not go down well with the other client as well. And that's what I learned. And that's what I feel is like, this traveling and relocating to some place and working enriches you with that culture experience. It's not about that technical stuff, but about a consulting stuff as a whole. I feel it makes you a better consultant.
Well, we're drawing to the end of our time, so let's just get on to some entertaining quickfire questions. So, first of all, who's your favorite MVP?
It's Scott Duro.
Scott Duro. You've changed your mind, because I found evidence that said it was David Yak.
It's like I saw his ribbon workbench in the beginning, and from then and there, it's like, and now, like, Sachin Tendulkar is the god of cricket for me now. I adore him like that, to be honest.
Classic. Okay, so here's some quick fire. So you just need to choose either one word or the other. Dog or cats?
Dog.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
Snow or beach?
Beach.
Okay. All things that are close to you. Well, it's been great talking to you. And before we go, if people want to kind of, connect with you online, where's the best place to find you?
Okay, so I am on LinkedIn quite frequently. So I actively follow the LinkedIn community, and also I have my LinkedIn profile right there. So if you search with my name, Debajit Dutta, you should be able to find me. Okay. And also like, you can write to me on my blog posts, or you can just drop an email. So my entire personal email stuffs and everything is mentioned on LinkedIn in my WordPress site. And so anytime, anywhere you feel, you can just ring me up as well. My phone number is there as well. You can ring me up for anything, be it over a quick chat on technical, non-technical, whatever.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that show. Feel free to reach out to me. Let me know if you're facing challenges in your business applications career. If I can help in any way, I am available to you. You can reach me anywhere on the social media channels, just searching for NZ365 Guy. If you want the full show notes for the show, check out nz365guy.com/71. And until next week,